Hi, I'm Ashley from Sunny Maid, and today we are going to learn how to make 2 at a time half square triangles. To make 2 at a time half square triangles, you're going to need fabric. I'm going to use today 4 inches of a colored and of a background. You're going to need a pencil, a rotary cutter, and a cutting mat, and something to trim them up. When we start with a 4-inch square, when we get done and we've trimmed it all up, we're going to end up with 2 3.5-inch half square triangles that are half one color and half of another. So I have with me today a 4.5-inch square ruler, which is what I actually started out using. And I also have with me the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers that are in the half sizes, because these will end up at the 3.5-inch side. This is trimmer A if you're interested. Okay, so first we're gonna start with our fabric. We are going to take one of our colored fabrics with colored side up, or right side up, I should say. And then we are going to put our background fabric right on top. Now, depending on what color your background fabric is, or what color you're actually gonna be drawing on, you could use a pencil, or you might need a chalk pencil, which would be a white, which would be perfect on like a dark colored, like if I were to use maybe the back, if I wanted to draw on this darker color. So we're gonna put them right on top of each other, and then we're just gonna get our straight edge, and we're gonna go from corner to corner on just one part. At this point, you can pin it together. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Really, it just depends on if I have pins around or how big my squares are. So as you can see, I have a line connecting corner to corner. I've pinned it together, and now what I'm gonna do is take it over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch and sew down one side and back up the other. So I'm gonna have one on each side. Okay, we're gonna actually do a little close-up so you can see this a little better. Here we have our white background fabric and our print. We're gonna take our white background fabric, and we are going to draw a line corner to corner. This one I'm using Friction Fine Liner. Is by Pilot. It's erasable. The way it works is that you put an iron on it and your line disappears, so it's kind of fun. Or you can use just a regular pencil. I use a regular pencil a lot. So you're gonna draw your line down from corner to corner on your lighter color, just because you can see it better on your lighter color. You're gonna put pattern up. You can definitely tell that there's a difference here. So put pattern up, put this on top so they're lined up. You are now gonna sew a 1/4 inch down both sides of this line. Okay, let me show you what this is gonna look like. I actually did it on this side so you could see my thread. I use a white thread if I'm using white background fabric. So here is the line I drew, and here is my seam line on both sides. Okay, at this point, you are going to trim your square, or you're gonna trim right on that line that you drew. Okay, now my next trick I'm going to teach you. If you finger press these open, your seam line becomes nice and straight. What I mean by that is put your pattern side up, your dark color up, and you press it open like this. Okay. When you go to iron it, this is going to be a nice straight line. So I'm going to go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, here we have our 2 half square triangles that are made from just the 2 pieces of fabric. Now we're going to trim this. Here's a couple tricks. This it's going to end up being 3.5 inch squared. So here's 3.5 inch. Oh, let me get it off of here so you can see it better. 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. When you go to trim it, put this diagonal line right down the diagonal line. You want to trim 2 sides. This diagonal line will make sure that your seam line is running right down the corner, right down from corner to corner, just like it should. Again, now you're going to line up this one and this one because it's 3.5 inches. It's lined up on the diagonal line. Hold it down. And now you have a nice trimmed 3.5 inch square. All you got to do is trim this one, and now you have 2 of them. Okay, now that we have these 2 made and trimmed for our project, you need 2 in one color and you need 2 in another color. And this is actually going to be a center of the square. I'm going to show you how this goes real quick before we get off. But we're going to put them together so they make a nice, pretty diagonal. So go practice your 2 at a time half square triangles. Once again, you're going to need 4 inch colored pattern and a 4 inch background for each set. All right, I will see you next week and we're going to tackle something new.